For thousands of years, humans lived without clothes. But here's the question nobody talks about. How did an entire family live together? Imagine a world with no houses, no bedrooms, no doors to close, no private rooms. Just a small groups of humans surrounded by endless forests. When the sun disappeared, everyone gathered around a fire. Parents, children, grandparents. They all stayed together. But did the earliest humans have something we call privacy today? Or did they live in a completely different way? The answer isn't as simple as most people think. Many people imagine ancient humans as wild creatures with no rules. But that's not what scientists believe. Even over 100,000 years ago, humans were already living in groups because survival depended on cooperation. If one person became separated from the group at night, the chances of being attacked by predators became much higher. That's why families stayed close to each other. The fire in the center wasn't just for warmth. It scared away dangerous animals, cooked food, provided light, and became the safest place everyone could gather after sunset. As darkness covered the forest, nobody wanted to wander alone. Every sound in the bushes could be a hungry predator. Every movement in the shadows could mean danger. So people slept close together. Not because they had no choice, but because staying together greatly increased their chances of surviving until morning. However, living close together doesn't mean people had no social rules. In fact, anthropologists believe that even early human groups developed customs that helped avoid conflict and protect families. So if everyone stayed together at night, what happened when people wanted privacy? Did ancient humans have their own way of creating personal space? Even without houses, doors, or walls? The answer may surprise you. So, did ancient humans really have privacy? The answer is yes, but probably not in the way we think today. There were no bedrooms, no locks, no walls. But early humans weren't living in complete chaos. Anthropologists who study modern hunter-gatherer societies believe that even the earliest human groups followed unwritten social rules. They understood something very important. Living together required respect for one another. During the day, people searched for food, made stone tools, collected water, protected children, and worked together to keep the group alive. When night arrived, the camp became much quieter. Most people stayed close to the fire because it offered warmth, light, and protection from predat. But that didn't mean every person stayed in exactly the same spot all night. Researchers believe people naturally created personal space whenever possible. Sometimes by moving a short distance from the main group. Sometimes by using darkness, large rocks, trees, or the landscape itself. Not because they had modern ideas of privacy, but because humans naturally value personal space and social boundaries. This behavior is still seen today in many traditional communities around the world. Another interesting question is, if children grew up in these small camps, how did they learn the difference between childhood and adulthood? The answer wasn't schools. It wasn't books. It was observation. Children watched adults hunt, build fires, make tools, care for younger children, and solve problems together. Every day became a classroom. Every adult became a teacher. Instead of formal lessons, knowledge passed from one generation to the next through daily life. And that's exactly how human civilization slowly began to grow. But one mystery still remains. If survival was so difficult, How did these tiny groups manage to grow into the billions of people living on Earth today? That's where the story becomes even more fascinating. So, how did tiny groups of ancient humans eventually become billions of people living across the planet? The answer wasn't luck. It was adaptation. Generation after generation, humans learned something new. They discovered better ways to hunt. They learned how to make stronger tools. They mastered fire. Then they began wearing clothes made from animal skins to survive colder climates. Thousands of years later, people started building shelters. Small camps slowly became villages. Villages grew into cities. And civilization was born. One invention led to another. Farming, writing, medicine, science, technology. Everything we see today began with those small groups fighting to survive every single night. But here's the most surprising part. Even though their world looked completely different, they loved their families, protected their children, worked together, shared food, and depended on one another, just as humans still do today. Movies often make ancients humans look like wild creatures with no rules. But the evidence suggests something very different. They weren't perfect, but they were intelligent, social, and constantly learning. Many details about their daily lives remain a mystery because no one was there to record them. That's why scientists continue studying ancient bones, stone tools, caves, and DNA, trying to understand the incredible journey that turned early humans into us. So the next time you imagine life without house, without electricity, or even without clothes, remember this. The biggest difference wasn't what ancient humans wore. It was how hard they had to fight just to see another sunrise. And maybe the greatest invention in human history wasn't fire or clothing. It was learning to live together. Because without cooperation, human civilization might never have existed. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed discovering the hidden truth about ancient humans, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more fascinating history and science stories.